Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to online class. Look at the pictures in the left hand side, children. You might be familiar with a dog, a cat and a money plant. Since they are large in size, they can be seen with our naked eyes. Whereas, look at the pictures in the right hand side. Have you seen these organisms with your naked eyes? The answer would be obviously no. Why? Because these organisms are very small in size. So, we may not be able to see with our naked eyes. That is why these organisms are named as microorganisms. In today's class, we are going to discuss about the lesson microorganisms. What are we going to learn? Microscope and its types, useful microorganisms, harmful microorganisms, food spoilage and food preservation. What do you mean by microorganisms? Micro means small and organisms means living. So, the living things which are smaller in size are known as microorganisms. Now, let us discuss about the term microorganisms. Tiny organisms that cannot be seen by the naked eye and are visible only through a microscope are called microorganisms. These are all the pictures representing micro. What is microbiology? Microbiology is the study of microbes or microorganisms, those being unicellular, multicellular or acellular. You know very well that unicellular means having single cell, multicellular means having many cells, and acellular means cell-free, that is, they are not made up of cells. So, microbiology is the study of microorganisms. Who is known as a microbiologist? A scientist who studies microorganism is known as a microbiologist. Some of the common microbiologists are Robert Hooke, Alexander Fleming, Louis Pasteur, Edward Jenner, and Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Why are they commonly referred as microbiologists? Because they studied about microorganisms. Where do microorganisms live? They live in every nook and corner you could possibly imagine. They are found all around us, in air, soil, water, inside rocks, on the surface of plants and animals, on your seat, under the table, over the roof, even on your body parts, your palms, literally everywhere. They can survive in all kinds of environments, from cold climates to hot springs. Microorganisms are found as free organisms, as well as they can be in groups known as colonies. What do you mean by colony? A colony is composed of two or more conspecific individuals living in close association with one another. Now, let us discuss about the discovery of microorganisms. The discovery of microorganisms can be attributed to two scientists, Robert Hooke and Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Robert Hooke discovered and described a fungus in the year 1665. Anton van Leeuwenhoek described bacteria and a few protists in the year 1674. He is considered as the father of microbiology. As he observed and experimented with microscopic organisms using simple microscope of his own design. Have you seen this picture? Yes, this is a microscope. It is an instrument used to see smaller organisms. Without this, we may not be able to see the microorganisms. Let us see the proper definition of a microscope. A microscope is an instrument which is used to observe small objects by forming their magnified. What do you mean by magnified? It is larger images with the help of lenses and light. Now, what do you mean by microscope? A microscope is an instrument which is used to observe smaller objects, that is microorganisms, by forming their magnified images with the help of lenses and light. There are different types of microscopes like scanning probe microscope, digital microscope, electron microscope, and compound microscope. And out of all these things, we'll be discussing about a compound microscope because they are one of the most familiar of the different types of microscopes, as they are often found in science and biology classrooms. This is a compound microscope, right? Yes. There are different parts present in a compound microscope. The lens closer to the eye is known as the eyepiece. The lens closer to the object is known as objective. And this is a coarse adjustment knob. This is the fine adjustment knob. This is a body tube. And this is revolving nose piece, condenser, mirror, base, and inclination joint. The object to be viewed is known as the specimen. This is known as the specimen. And it is arranged on a rectangular glass piece known as the slide, which is covered by a thin square or a round piece of glass known as cover slip. So, in today's class, we discussed about microorganisms and its definition, discovery of microorganisms, microscope and its types, as well as about the compound microscope. Thank you, children.